Did everybody get an opportunity to review their continuing education?
Yes.
All right, good, thank you. We're sending this out like a couple weeks in advance.
This time was not sent out early because of the holiday.
I know we talked about this before with the continuing education, but I do take into consideration if I got it a week before the board meeting, if we didn't get it on the agenda, they're looking at another 2 months. And they may be try to take it as an individual basis. So let's look at the first one. Accident Analysis and Reconstruction Incorporated. Using UAV and PIX4D in collision investigations. They want to have a seminar February the 18th through the 21st of this year, and they're asking continuing education credits for 32 hours. So I would think it would be for some other people other than our PIs, because obviously we don't.
Well, we only need 12,
12.
right?
I knew as soon as I turned to you and said,
I knew it too, when I looked at it, I was like, no, it's 12.
That's my other profession. Okay.
Can we just only
Yes.
honor 12 for all of those that request more than that if we like what they're, if we approve what they're teaching?
That's the way, yes, because I believe they're probably having this seminar, they're going to have other people there from other professions perhaps, and they do need more hours than what we require, but we're not going to give them more than what you require for continuing education.
I don't have any problem with the program. I looked at it. It looks pretty good.
The only problem I have with the program is I don't see a breakdown of subjects by hours taught. And a number of, though they say February 18 through 21, they list a set of 8, 10, or 11 topics. What else? And I believe the commission has requested when you file a request for approval, you file something that includes how that program is broken down by topic and hours. So
Correct, but
I'm okay
Commissioner-
with 12 hours, but I'm not okay with 32 in the absence of an explanation.
Explain to me why we need to know how it's broken down, the hours. Could you?
I read that in our course listing, approved listing states, if you're going to provide something for approval, you provide it by
Hour?
hour and topic.
It does say that.
Background of the speakers, et cetera. While the speaker looks pretty strong on this, I don't see a breakdown of hours. It'd be nice to see that. But in the absence of that, 12 is good with
It's
me.
something that we're going to have to make sure that we get complete breakdown, because it's not the first time.
Right.
But we are going to approve it for the 12 hours that's needed, is that, or do we need to hold this, I won't be able to do they won't get approval.
I'm okay with that.
12 hours is
Need a
fine with me.
motion. You need a motion.
We can do a motion at the end if you
On
like,
all
on
of them?
all of them, if you like, unless we have one that we need to discuss. Go to the next one is Black Swan, SWAN, Digital Forensics. Hours that now theirs is a little different. They want continuing education, individual, and initial. So they're using this for somebody else's education as well, our programs. Obviously, when you're going to be a PI, you got to go take the test at PSI, so it wouldn't be for initial. Only thing we're going to be doing is for continuing education hours.
This particular submission is quite detailed in by hours and topics.
Somebody paid attention.
Yes.
No, we just need to. Okay, well, how does everybody feel about that 12 hours?
No problem with it
No
at all.
problem.
Let's go to the next one, which is Fire Findings, FINDINGS LLC, investigation of gas and electric appliances. Fire seminar was held November the 6th through the 9th of 18. They did not get this in advance to be approved. They want those people that continued that to have get their continuing education. They're asking for 30 hours, so we know we're going to do it for 12, but this seminar has already been held.
I'll ask our fire expert, do those topics seem reasonable to you?
Yes, sir, they do. They're quite thorough in the subject area. Yes. The issue I have is after the fact.
Yes. And how many PIs from Tennessee attended that up in Benton Harbor, Michigan?
I don't have any idea.
I'd indicate apparently maybe one.
At least they wouldn't have submitted it.
Right.
Right.
I have to tell you, based on the topics and hours, appears that I would accept certainly 12 hours on that. Move it for 12 is what I mean.
This course list does say the individual and continuing education, but we're approving continuing education. So.
Right.
All right, the next one is Knoxville ACFE, Ethics for the Fraud Examiner. This is their annual ethics training, January the 10th. Well, that's today.
Aren't they on our approved list? They are. Okay. I'm okay with it.
And because they're on the approved list, I'm okay with it also.
Hours or whoever's attending that today. All right, can I get a motion here? We approved all 4 of these, so I will need a motion for approval, please.
Chairman, I move that we approve the 4 requests.
Second?
Can't
Can I second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brown.
I thought maybe since I wasn't running the education thing that you were, that I could vote.
Well, actually, you are kind of running it.
Okay.
Can we turn around and show him?
Yeah. Okay, you want to continue with the vote?
Yes.
Okay, we've got a motion made by Alan Russo, seconded by David Brown.
Yes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Brilliant.
And that's going to conclude that continuing education portion. Thank you.
Hey, I've slept twice since the last time.
It's a new year. We all got to be retrained.
I want to thank whoever put the candy dish between Brown and myself. We appreciate that. And you have it down low so people can't see us reaching up for it.
We have a mute button. Cody, what happened to the young lady that was applying before November? We asked for more detail. Did she ever get?
That's Miss Bible.
Yes.
She said that she does not expire until September. She's
She didn't get the letter. We asked him to get it in early.
I can tell you her last.
Statement that includes the chair's vote, but they have put that in there.
Got a minute, Miss Cody.
Yes, we do.
Will y'all drive up this morning?
No, actually.
Over your shoulder.
You're like, stop.
I'm sorry.
You can see it later. It's just the budget.
So, how to elect officers.
Oh, okay.
Commission members, staff members, and honored guests. Today's date is January the 10th, 2019 at approximately 9:40 a.m. I'm Walt Valentine, Commission Chair. I will now call to order the meeting of the Tennessee Private Investigation and Polygraph Commission. Executive Director Cody Vest, please call the roll.
Stuart Bain.
Present.
David Brown.
Present.
Larry Flair.
Here.
Robin Johnston. Present. Rick Jones. Jerry Richards. Alan Russo.
Present.
Doug Shanks.
Here.
Let the record show that we do have Mr. Shanks calling in, but telephonically. Thank you. And Mr. Valentine, excuse me, our chair. I've missed your name, didn't I?
Present. The next item is for approval is the agenda. I'd like to ask each commission member if they've received and had time to review a copy of the agenda, and if so, is there a motion to adopt this agenda?
Motion made. Mr. Bain?
Bain made the motion. Brown
Commissioner Brown, seconded.
Any discussion?
Roll call.
Director Best, would you call the roll?
Stuart Bain.
Aye.
David Brown.
Aye.
Larry Flair.
Aye.
Robin Johnston.
Aye.
Alan Russo.
Aye.
Doug Shanks.
Aye.
Walt Valentine.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the last Education Committee and Commission meeting. Has each commission member received and had time to review a copy of these minutes? And if so, is there a motion to adopt these minutes?
Commissioner Brown makes a motion, we adopt the minutes.
I second. Alan Russo.
Been moved and seconded to adopt the minutes. Any discussion? Hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Stuart Bain.
Aye.
David Brown.
Aye.
Larry Flair.
Aye.
Robin Johnston. Alan Russo.
Aye.
Doug Shanks.
Aye.
Walt Valentine.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
The next on the agenda is the legal report.
Next on the agenda is your election of officers, Mr. Chairman.
Corrected.
Okay. I do have a script I'll read off from it. That's okay. It's a little complicated. All right, we'll call for nominations for the Private Investigation and Polygraph Commission's chair. Do I have any nominations?
I nominate Walt Valentine.
Kane, second.
It's been nominated by David Brown, and it's seconded by Mr. Bain, correct?
Correct.
Are there any other nominations? Okay, if there's no other nominations, we have a motion and a second vote for election by acclamation.
I so move.
Okay. So we'll need to take a roll call vote for the election. Yes. Stuart Bain,
Aye.
David Brown,
Aye.
Larry Flair,
Aye.
Robin Johnston,
Aye.
Alan Russo,
Aye.
Doug Shanks.
Aye.
All right, all the ayes have it. So we do have a chair for the Private Investigation Polygraph Commission. Congratulations, Mr. Valentine.
But that's really input. But anyway, thank you.
We have to vote for the vice chair.
Nominate David Brown.
I second.
Mr. Brown just walked out of the commission meeting, but his name has been put in it for nomination. David Brown. Are there? Let me see. Let me write this down. Was nominated by Mr. Bain.
Yes, ma'am.
And it was seconded by Mr. Russo. Are there any other nominations? All right. This time we'll call for the, let me get back up. Election by, there should be a motion, a second, and a vote for the election by acclamation.
I move that we accept David Brown as the vice chairman by acclamation.
Second,
I'll second that, madam.
Mr. Flair. All right. Roll call for that. Stuart Bain,
Aye.
David Brown,
Aye.
Larry Flair,
Aye.
Robin Johnston.
Aye.
I call his name. Did you vote? I'm sorry.
Hello.
I just knew this was. Okay. Alan Russo,
Aye.
Doug Shanks,
Aye.
and Walt Valentine.
Aye.
All right. Ayes have it. Congratulations. We do have a vice chair for the Private Investigation and Polygraph Commission, and David Brown. So we do have the chair is Walt Valentine, and the vice chair is David Brown. Very good. Thank you. Apologize if I messed that up a little.
Didn't want to mess the signs up, have to spend money having those signs made up. We're trying to be frugal.
That's kind of you. Thank you.
We wondered why Mr. Brown suddenly got up and walked out of the room.
That threw me.
Open.
Okay. The next thing on the agenda is the adoption of Robert's Rules of Order. I need
I move we accept the Robert Rules of Order.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Wait a minute. You need to call the roll on that.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry about that.
Stuart Bain,
Aye.
David Brown,
Aye.
Larry Flair,
Aye.
Robin Johnston,
Aye.
Alan Russo,
Aye.
Doug Shanks,
Aye.
Walt Valentine.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Next on our agenda is the legal report by the staff attorney.
Good morning. There are two complaints that are related to each other, to investigator and the agency.
It's 2018-082-621 and 2018-082-661. Complainant alleges respondent threatened to arrest complainant while trying to serve a civil suit warrant. Respondent states the only conversation had with complainant was regarding serving a civil warrant for general sessions. Respondent states the conversation was pleasant and there were no threats made. Respondent is a part-time private process server, and this complaint has nothing to do with her PI license. Recommendation is to close.
Make the motion, we accept the council's recommendation.
I second Alan Rousseau.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Would you call the roll?
Rick Bain,
Aye.
David Brown,
Aye.
Larry Flair,
Aye.
Robin Johnston,
Aye.
Alan Russo,
Aye.
Doug Shanks,
Aye.
Walt Valentine.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Next is appearances. Do we have anyone wanting to appear before the commission?
Just a second, Mr. Chairman. Let me get my paperwork here together. Yes, sir, we do. If you will go on your it should be on the iPads. We do have an appearance this morning. Young lady is in the office. I'm in the audience, and she has already signed in. And I'm going to spell her name for the court reporter. Alimenti, if that's correct. Give them just a minute to look at, she's already signed in. She's making an application for a private investigator company. You can look at the entire application, but what I was looking at was the education. It was her education. It's somewhat different from what I have seen. So I did want to ask her to come in. I could have presented the application to you, but if you had said you wanted to see the lady or have more questions, she would have had to wait another 2 months. So I do appreciate her taking the time on such short notice to come in this morning. Would you like to have a copy of your application in case they ask you any questions about it? Sure. If I'm not mistaken, you haven't taken the exam yet, have you?
No, I have not.
Okay. In order to have everything reviewed by the commission before she did the exams.
Curiosity question. Where is Huron, Tennessee?
It's next, it's in between Lexington and Jackson. It's mainly in Lexington. They don't know, to be honest with you, because I'm out by Jacks Creek in Lexington and towards Beef Bluff. They've got us kind of squashed. Huron, where I live, is here, but actually Huron is over here. So I'm in no man's land.
Two academic credentials that I can see: University of South Florida system. Two, shows a picture of the Certificate of Achievement awarded by University of South Florida, Department of Secondary Ed, to you. Introduction to Computers in Education. Was that a single semester course or what?
That was in with my in with all my other courses. I just put that in there so that you can see I have computer skills.
So the where do I find the academic record of the University of South Florida?
The transcripts are in there.
Okay, so that's all University of South Florida.
Yes.
Page 30.
$34. It won't be the same for you.
I'm finding that out.
That pad's a little different.
Would you like me to tell you what?
So why don't you do the 5,000 foot level on academic background?
Okay, at USF, I took a degree in ISS, which is interdisciplinary social sciences. It goes 3 different ways. Social sciences, criminal justice is what I choose, and sociology is what I choose. And later on, I went out of my degree and was going for special ed, but I changed it.
Move toward a Master of Science
Yes.
in.
Actually, it started out mental health, and then I decided to go to human services, general human services.
So I read, yes.
I have a master's certificate in addiction counseling. Plus, I went up towards my PhD.
Yep, just read that. You're engaged in your PhD work?
No, I'm not. I had to quit because my husband had a major heart attack, and we didn't know if he was going to make it. And then I ran out of student loans.
Sense.
Is Capella University an online school?
Yes, it's very accredited, very good school.
Top shelf grades. How close are you with the PhD, and do you think to continue it?
The only thing with the PhD is I had to do the dissertation. Everything else is done, and that could cost up to $20,000. And right now, I'd have to start all over again. They give you a 7-year period, and
Page 30, and are you and Mary Barrett are one and the same, correct?
Barrett is my maiden name.
Barrett is your maiden name, okay.
It's easier than Elementi.
Well, Elementi is an interesting name. Page 30 indicates on August 2011 a spiritual company. Could you give us a sense of that?
Well, what I do is I go by my intuitive, basically, called psychic medium. A lot of people call that or messenger or spiritual advisor. What I do in there, I also am a ordained minister. I'm also a certified master hypnotist, certified life coach, and what I do is I help people with what they need help with. what I'm qualified for. And I have masters in all of that.
Who offered those certifications?
Steve Jones is the master hypnotist, and they're basically online courses.
I have no further questions.
Anyone else have a question for Ms. Alamenti?
Commissioner Shanks, what will be your main focus on your investigations with your company if you get licensed?
What I would like to do is look for missing children, missing adults, people with Alzheimer's that disappear. I've also helped a police officer and bounty hunter locate a child in Oklahoma, and that's what I would continue to do, is look for children who need to be brought home, and adults also.
Okay, thank you.
I've got a question, please. Do you have any, if you will, I guess the best way to say is on-the-street training or actual experience in any type of investigations other than the location of a missing person?
Not really, no, I do not.
Okay.
I did do surveillance with that case. I did work on it for a few days. And we went out on surveillance, and
I don't want the names of the people involved by any means, but what time era was that, please? How long ago was that?
wasn't too long ago.
Within the last 2 years. Yeah, 16.
And I have recommendations from the bounty hunter and also from the police officer, chief of police, who was in charge of the investigation.
Further comments or questions?
But what we're looking at, she does not have the 2,000 hours of experience, excuse me. She's here today if you're looking for her education.
Chairman, according to the documents, her degree and hours, GPA time, would satisfy requirements for education versus the 1,000 hours. So if I'm in order, I'd like to make a motion.
8 seconds.
Moved and seconded to approve her education report to qualify for the 2,000 hours. Any discussion? Hearing
Mr. Chairman, before I do the roll call, we're still in discussion. When I do the roll call and it gets approved, I would like to make sure that the entire application will be approved. If there's any other question, I'm going to take a vote, and then we would approve the application, and then she'd be eligible to take the exam. Right on, I won't have to bring her back to the board.
Do I need to amend my motion?
I would, if you could amend it to include the entire application, I'd approve that. I appreciate that.
I amend my motion to approve the application in its entirety.
And I second that.
Thank you. Now we're ready for the roll call.
Yes.
Stuart Bain,
Aye.
David Brown,
Aye.
Larry Flair,
I want to abstain.
all
Mr.
right,
Chairman.
Robin Johnston,
Aye.
Alan Russo,
Aye.
Doug Shanks,
Aye.
Walt Valentine.
aye.
All right, the ayes have it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for appearing before us.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with the test.
Next item on the agenda is.
Would you mind if we take just a short break?
That be
Thank you. Mr. Shanks, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll go right on to the administrative matters now. The monthly report, we'll take a look at those. We do have it for October and for November of 18. Items that I reported for that month was that Assistant General Counsel and I met on October the 11th of 2018 for our normal monthly meeting. Or we normally meet almost every day or talk every day. You will see that there are some issues here, and there's actually 3 issues there. That's Alan Russo, Rick Jones, and Jerry Richards. They expired September 30th of 2014 and September 30th, 2018. I have been given a name or several names to replace Jerry Richards for the polygraph. He's our only polygraph individual. But if you do know of anyone and you'd like to submit their names to us, I'd be glad to proceed. They can always go out on the governor's website and make application for appointment. What will happen, I'll be contacted. It goes through the chain, and I'll be contacted, and I'll do the vetting for these individuals. Yes, sir?
Question. Madam Director, do they need to be a polygraph examiner to fill that chair? I understand that that's correct, right?
Yes, sir. They
Okay.
have to be an active polygraph examiner at the time. that they-
Private sector or public?
Just to make, as long as they're, I can vet them on the computer as a polygraph examiner, and they do hold an active license. Now, I do have to go in, when I say vet them, I do have to look to see if they've had any complaints or if there's been any activity that be out of the norm. But, yes, sir, everybody has to be, you're required to all to be active private investigators.
Cody,
Yes,
is
sir.
Jerry eligible to be reappointed?
Yes, but he has stated that that he did not wish to be so, and I said yes without looking. Yes, sir. He's only served 1 term. Rick Jones, the same thing. Rick Jones was reappointed. It's just a 1 term, and you can serve your 2 terms. So both of those would be eligible, as Mr. Russo is as well. Right, I think that's all we really have under your section there with the alarms. It's the same thing in November. So
I just have a question.
Yes, sir.
if their terms have expired and they can be renewed,
They have to ask to be reappointed,
they
yes,
have
sir.
to ask to
Yes,
be
sir, you have to
reappointed.
tell me, yes, my terms. Mr. Russo, of course, has been with us since 2014. Yes, sir, until chooses not to, or someone else would like, he's our public member, so if you have someone else that you would like for me to look at or give me a name, we'd be glad to vet that individual.
2014 was a good year.
Yes, sir, it's an excellent year. And we certainly appreciate that.
It's up to Mr. Rousseau to ask to be.
Yes, he has. Yes, sir. He's asked over the years.
Okay.
He likes to come to our commission meetings.
Okay.
I'm sure.
So why is it still expired 2014?
He hasn't been reappointed.
He has not been reappointed.
That's right. I have to send the names up when you get close to your expiration date, and I have sent that name.
With a reappointment request?
Yes, sir. With the reappointment, yes, sir. And I don't have an answer to why he has not been reappointed. But you serve until you're either reappointed or someone else is appointed in your place, and Mr. Russo has been kind enough to do that.
Could we send that up again to the new governor?
Yes, sir, to the new governor. So you need, the new governor has just been elected, so they may not move quickly on appointments. I do not know. He might have his own people that they want to appoint or they want to look at, have time to do that. Yes, I had to submit all of them.
And this a second question on the monthly report. The 2 complaints that were opened, we closed today. Is that correct?
I don't believe we closed but one today. Oh, it was the
Or two.
company and the individual?
Yeah, it was company and
Okay,
individual.
then we have 0. That I know of, unless Stuart's got something I'm not familiar with. Wait a minute.
I believe we have 1 open. It's been sent for investigation.
We don't have anything going to a formal hearing?
No, we don't.
That conclude our administrative
Oh,
matters?
sir, it does not. This includes bi-monthly.
Okay, keep on going.
Merry Christmas.
Okie dokie, let's get to another topic here of interest, your budget review. Have you found that on your iPads?
Oh, yes.
All right, looky there, we come out of the red for the month of October and November. Overall, you're still in the red for $1,732, but we are moving in the right direction here, it appears.
Have they adjusted their figures for pro rata that they had talked about before November? I don't think so. I think it's the same numbers.
The Edison expenditures, October, November, are substantially less.
I thought they were going to go back and do the.
Oh, yeah, previous months for the FY.
I'll have to look into that matter. I do not know the answer to that, Commissioner Brown. I know we have reviewed the budget. There have been adjustments made to the budget.
Right.
There's only so many adjustments I can make. What you're seeing there is a reduction in staff, is actually what you're seeing under Edison. I've taken this, as you know, we are just one department. Everybody does everything, so to speak. So what I've had to do was sit down and reevaluate, and Tiffany's in the back of the room. Tiffany Hopkins, she is still your employee that does an excellent job. But I did make some changes in personnel, the way we do things in the office, that apparently has helped your Edison budget. Only other thing, I'm reviewing PSI's contract now. Last year, we had to redo the contracts for PSI. You know, you have 2 exams. One is the private investigators and one is the private investigation company. There's a fee for that. And I do not believe it's in this budget yet. We didn't do them both. I just got the one for November for the alarm board, and it was actually sent out before private investigators, so it might not show up till December or January. I don't know yet, but I'm reviewing that. But the good thing is, for the October and November, we did come out of the red, and now it's only 1732, so we should be we should see you in the black pretty soon, until anything else major hits. Have any other questions or any questions on that? All right, so we did the budget review, legislative update. I'm going to cross these fingers and say we don't have any.
Not yet, but they just started. Session just started.
Session just started, but right now you don't have any. So that's pretty good. If you do hear of any bills or anything, if it's in your profession, at your meetings and whatever, if you would let me know in advance, I really appreciate that, so I can start looking. We're looking for that. We want to go next to our application review. I don't have one because I was able to approve the individual myself. I thought I was going to have to bring to you. Correspondence. Have any actual correspondence? We've moved it down to new business. The education report this morning, it was reviewed and all courses were approved by the board, but I do need a vote. Our commission. That's it, board.
We have a motion to approve the education report.
Education report. I make the motion to approve the education report.
Your second.
Second, Commissioner Brown.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, would you call the roll?
Stuart Bain.
Aye.
David Brown.
Aye.
Larry Flair.
Aye.
Robin Johnston.
Aye.
Alan Russo.
Aye.
Doug Shanks.
Aye.
Walt Valentine.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Do we have any unfinished business?
Not that I'm aware of, no, sir.
Hearing none, we'll move on to new business.
Yes, sir.
We have new business.
We have something we want. We moved it down. iPads. Just for your information, when I get this information, I do try to share with all the programs. If you look, I've got a brief little report here. It's from the Blade Runner eye scanning lie detector, maybe coming to a dystopian. It's a futuristic eye scanning lie detector, and we don't have our polygraph individual here today. It's just some information for you. I found it rather interesting. If you read it, it said it was funded by billionaire Mark Cuban. It was released in 2014 as Eye Detect examines things like pupil dilation, blink rate, and other eye motions to determine whether a person's lying. A new wave instead of the way they do their polygraphs. Maybe something new coming down the pike. I'm sure the TBI and FBI has already taken a look at all this, but I wanted to bring it to your attention that there is something out there that could affect the polygraph commission. Part of the commission, I should say. Anybody got any questions about that piece?
Yes.
I did have more, but like I say, Mr. Richards is not here, and for the polygraph.
I look forward to input from Mr. Richards on this. I would look forward to.
Oh,
input.
okay, good, good.
I'd like to hear more about this, whether it's being used in the state of Tennessee, whether it's being used at a state level, a federal level. I know of no such use, but
Is anybody else on the commission a polygrapher, examiner? Okay.
I deal with them quite often, Madam Chairman, I'm sorry, Director, and just for the board, from what little information I know about it in law enforcement, it's not been recognized yet. It's the same as the voice technique. It's a tool, but as we all know, the polygraph itself, and the general counsel may correct me, but again, it's not, it's not admissible in court, in criminal court that I know of, and neither this nor the voice test either. But I've had certain officers that I've dealt with think it's the greatest thing in the world, and I've had numerous tell me that they didn't like it at all. I'm in my tenure as law enforcement. I've never been involved with this. I was involved with the voice part type in the normal polygraph, not as an examiner, but had them done in investigations. And I don't know enough about this to really, comment about this, but I think Mr. Richard Chairman Richard would probably help us on a great deal for that if we could maybe reach out to him. I don't know if he's going to be available.
That's the voice stress analysis, which I believe is what you're speaking
Right.
of. Our last polygraph examiner made the statement, and I do have it documented, that that is not the same thing as a lie detector. It's not used in the same sense. It's not acceptable, in other words. I was just trying to relay this to something new that's in the industry that I'm aware of, so I may come back later on and we need to discuss it or whatever. But yes, we'll be checking more into this, and I'll be calling Mr. Richards and see if he has any input, knows more about this or whatever. I have not heard of it used, but then basically what individual I talked to would be with the TBI, and I haven't heard of any activity.
I think all of us would be interested in what Commissioner Richards would have to say about this. If you could email us
Oh, yes, I'll make a note of
his
that.
comments.
thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Any further new business?
No, sir, I believe everybody at the back there. No. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. We do have another. Williams is going to talk about.
On your travel authorizations, I do have your proxies for the Edison where I can actually enter in all your information, and there's going to be some new changes. So what's going to happen is when I enter your travel expenses, I'm going to have to email you with the totals and break it out for you, and then I'm going to need an email back stating that you've approved it. Otherwise, I can't get any more travel approved. Okay. So if y'all have another email address or anything that you want me to send it to, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll send it to the ones I have on file. That's it.
It's a matter of you're going to send us an email, we approve it, and shoot it back to you, and then the day is done, right?
And that's it, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't believe I have any more new business. I think that you looked in the back of on your iPad, you do see your new dates. Of course, you already got that in advance. We will be meeting in this room every meeting. And we will be meeting on Thursdays now like we are today. We did change that. That's the only changes that we have made. Everybody seems to be agreeable to that, so it's his fault, but we
Somebody's got to take the blame.
he's gonna take it.
It's always my fault.
We try to make it anyway. I don't have anything. I'm just Mr.
The
Chairman.
next item is the Continuing Education Participation Forum. Do we have anyone appearing for that?
No, sir, I don't have anybody signed in for that.
Okay. The last item on the agenda is adjournment. Do I
Make a
have
motion, we adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Second by Commissioner Brown.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, would you call the roll?
Stuart Bain.
Aye.
David Brown.
Aye.
Larry Flair.
Aye.
Robin Johnston.
Aye.
Alan Russo.
Aye.
Doug Shanks.
Aye.
Walt Valentine.
Aye.
That must have it.
We are adjourned.
Thank you. Mr. Shanks,